For the latest in high-octane Metal Moose. You've been weighed, you've been measured, you've been found wanting. Metal Moose. For the latest in high-octane Metal Moose. Visit them on Facebook at Metal Moose Radio for weekly podcasts and more up-to-date information and events. Metal Moose.
And so welcome to another edition of the Soundcheck Custom, which I think I've decided I'm going to call Soundchecked instead of just Soundcheck. Soundcheck is the weekly podcast show I do on iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and so much more. But this is a custom show. This is where the bands have an opportunity to get a full album review, track by track, done in podcast form. So I do the review track by track and do the full album review. And then I send it to the band. And from that point on, they can do whatever they want with it. They can have me release it on all the digital platforms so people can hear it, or they can keep it and burn it to a CD, burn it to a flash drive, and give it away as Christmas gifts, or sell it to their fans, or wait till they're huge Mongo famous stars and release it as a rare review, whatever you want to do. It's something that I wish that I could have done when I was in bands, because this is all based on Redbeard. If you guys remember Redbeard, my hero who did Metal Shop, and when I first started doing podcasts and stuff like that, how cool it would be to be able to do these custom shows for bands. And now I'm doing it, and this is a pretty cool one. There's an interview included in this one, but I think that I'm going to make the first copy here without the interview, and give it to the band, and then I'll send them a copy with the interview, and they can decide what they want to do with it from there. But my name is Moose, coming to you from the Moose Pit in Oklahoma City, the home of the legendary Metal Moose Radio podcast, as well as Soundcheck. And this is what I do, man. I listen to bands, and I give them advice, or I say, you don't need any damn advice, and just keep doing what you're doing. And I review the records. You can read reviews anywhere. You can go listen to people review albums and hear one song off of it. But this is the custom deals where you get the entire record bit by bit. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different than the first few Soundchecked custom shows. I'm going to do the songs in alphabetical order, which will kind of give a different arrangement than they are on the record, and also it give you a break of the monotony of sometimes you get that stale, stagnant sound from the way the record is put together. So I wanted to mix it up a little bit and go piece by piece and give a true feeling on the record as a whole. So we're going to start with a band. The band's called Apathy Syndrome, by the way. We're going to start with a song called Avenge. Apathy Syndrome from Des Moines, Iowa, with Avenge right here on Soundcheck.
One day I will.
We start out with Avenge there, and my opening thoughts on this is there's obviously a lot of emotion going on, you to say the least. I liked the aggression. I really liked I'm guessing it's a 2 guitar player band. I don't know that, but I like the guitar tone. It's really earthy, kind of dry. It's not real solid state and crisp. It's kind of burnt. You know what I mean? It's like coffee grounds. So I liked that a lot. I thought that the keyboard was just super interesting. Behind all of this fueled hatred, there was this keyboard of happiness. And then I kind of thought immediately, I was like, oh boy, here we go with the dun 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 breakdown. Here comes a bass drop. Here we go. I just kind of thought, all right, let's see. They kind of surprised me with going a little bit out of the box of the standard sound for this kind of band. I'm interested to hear how they work with melody, because the melody in that tune was the keyboard. I love the little outro piece there. Oh, it sounded like the heartbeat. That was nice. I'm interested to see where they go with the melody, because I think that, and I'm going out of order on purpose just to try to mix things up for myself and the listener as well. Melody could really be the key to this band, because the heaviness part is there. I thought that the kick drums made the mix a little muddy. I don't know if you guys used triggers or went natural, but it just muddied it up a little bit. The bass tone was razor sharp. With that earthy guitar tone, it's kind of important to have that kick drum really cut through. And to me, it was there and it was nice, but it didn't separate the riff like that I feel that it should have. Or I don't know, maybe also a noise gate could help with that as well. But as we go forward, I'm going to start looking towards the melody in the music. I also liked the not so harsh, kind of cleaner vocal towards the end, where it sounded like somebody else in the band maybe saying, "I will avenge." There was a different voice than throughout the song, or maybe it was just phrased differently. I liked that. I thought it brought some flavor to the end of the song. So, yeah, man, pretty interesting. I am interested to go on throughout this and see what they can come up with, because that was a good initial start for me to hear that, and kind of what I'm in for in the next hour or so as we cut this apart. So coming up next is a song called "Blind Eyes," and we'll see. Like I said, we're looking for. My eyes are looking for melody and clarity in the breakdown, and also how they get diverse in the way they do these tunes, because sometimes that's a bad thing to get stuck in the same rut. So we'll find out. Blind Eyes, Apathy Syndrome, coming up right now.
Get loose with the moose. Music
This is Noah Shark from Moto Grader, and you're listening to Metal Moose Radio.
All right, this is Moose here. Apathy Syndrome. We're doing the custom sound check on their newest record, and so an important thing happened in that song. It's something I was kind of looking for, and I was waiting for it. I guess the better word is that song right there had that could have been three different bands. That had the kind of rap metal thing going as well as the deathcore thing going as well, and then there at the end it kind of had that real monotone, almost Alice in Chains-esque kind of Saigon kick too. That was pretty good at that. Like I mentioned in the first deal, I was starting to look for melody and how they were going to use the melody. Keyboard still in there, very interesting. But I that was important to me because it shows this band can be more than one flavor, which is kind of, I think, like, and I'll give you an example for the guitar playing. And I know that I'm doing this not as a casual radio listener. I'm doing this as a, reviewer. Guitar wise, when I hear a band that plays this kind of music, and it's obviously they're either tuned extremely low or they're playing a 7 or an 8 string guitar. And whenever I see somebody play a 7 or 8 string, or I hear that, I expect them to be guitar virtuosos. Because why use a guitar with more strings than a normal guitar if you can't just shred the hell out of a 6 string? So I'm waiting for the melody from the guitar to show up. What does that have to do in conjunction with having different flavors? Well, because if your guitar playing is one-dimensional, then it's real easy to kind of brush it off as, well, you hear that real distinct gent kind of tuning, but one of the things that good gent bands have, a progressive death metal or whatever you want to call it, is that musically they're extremely adventurous. So the guys that have the more strings on their guitars play around more. So I'm waiting for that as well. But that was a good sign to me that these guys can do more than one thing. That little last minute and a half of the song was a total shock to the system. Didn't expect that to come at all. And I liked the diversity of it. So now I'm waiting to see the keyboard to be put to really good use. And I'm also I'm dying to hear a guitar solo. I need some melody, or even if it's we'll just start with some vocal melodies. Doesn't even have to be guitar solo right off the bat. It can just be a vocal melody. So melodies, we're looking for you. Born with Hatred right now.
You've just joined the Moose Crew.
Live with This is Joel from Bent to Break, and you're listening to Metal Moose Radio.
That right there is the song that if I were going to introduce Apathy Syndrome to somebody, that if I was going to introduce them to a label, and I was trying to convince this label or somebody to like this band, that's the song that I would play. So far, that has the most flavors in it, the most diversity and flexibility of the band, which it makes it the most interesting thing so far. I'm still waiting. I think that they're missing out at this point. You guys are missing out on a really good opportunity to throw melody in your music. Now, listen, I know that this is metal, and I know that it's supposed to just beat people's brains, and I get that, but there's got to be something in there that makes it something you want to go back and listen to. And you can make fun of Katy Perry and Eminem and you know, whoever you want to, but good tunes come with hooks, and those hooks are what get people to come back and listen to a band. And you guys are really good. I mean, there's not many bad things I could say. I totally hate the production on the drums. Not a fan of that. And I'm really, really sadly missing what I think is some really fine opportunities for some killer guitar licks. And while I like the earthy, you know, coffee ground tone of the guitar, it's not real sharp. So, and sometimes it muddies things up along with that double kick production. It's just mud. You can't hear what's going on. So I miss that as well. So, but that track would, if I were the producer of this record or I were the label trying to get people to be interested in this band, Born with Hatred would be the track that I would play them so far. I really think that you guys are pretty good at different flavors. Like that has some super different flavors in it. And I don't necessarily know that I would pick one necessarily to stay, but I'd pick the one that you're best at and make that your foundation. And then build, because right now the foundation is kind of the growly deathcore thing, you know, kind of thing, which there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, then I think you need to pick one of the others and become really brilliant at that and then add them together. But I don't know if going with three is really, it might be too much for a lot of people to stomach, you know. I'm sure somebody said that to Rush one time and they went, yeah, whatever, mate. So, you know, same thing with me. Apathy Syndrome. We continue with the song Bruised right here on Soundcheck from the Moose Pit in OKC.
The Moose says,
Show your rack, Cheetos, and rubber chickens.
Yeah, so one of the things that I've mentioned already, but I'm starting to catch more of a grasp on, is that you guys are really, really putting out a lot of different voices in your songs. That song had a real, almost Catatonia-esque doom with the with the clean guitar, and then I kept saying to myself during the past few songs, they really should take advantage of the power that they have. And one of the really good ways to show power, and this is such a lost art, one of the ways that you show the power behind what you do is to stop and leave some silence. And you guys did that right towards the end of that cut. Something I think that you might consider doing more, because you're extremely powerful. There's a lot pushing through. So sometimes, I always say, like good sex, every now and then you just stop and make them wait. Then you bring it back with the force again, and it's a powerful statement. It's just like a pause in a sentence when you're speaking to somebody and you want to throw some weight behind it. You pause for a second. I really think there could be more power here. It's one of those kind of deals. Voicing your music is a lot like voicing your speech or voicing your actions. And I think that you guys are really good at voicing the power in your music. I mean, it is just brutal. It's heavy. It's boombastic. That's where the mud kind of comes in, though. So I'm not a huge fan of the production wise, and I don't know if you guys are playing with a click or not, but I would really suggest that you do. If you don't, just to kind of bring that pop into your breaks. And then also, there's so many instances so far in the music that I listen to that I keep saying, man, what a great place for a killer riff, as opposed to dun 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 dun. Write a cool riff to throw in there, man. As opposed to that breakdown is way overused. So break out that inner Eddie Van Halen and write a cool riff that just haunts the background along with that keyboard. That's where you use that keyboard to start making some good emotional flow of the music, where somebody all of a sudden they're headbanging and then they stop and they go, whoa, what is that? Just make some killer riff and throw a good haunt keyboard line behind it and have fun with it. So as we continue, we roll on Apathy Syndrome with the song Cynic, coming up right now with the Moose. Buckle it up, Buttercup, because here it comes.
This is Stephanie with Black Plague, and you're listening to The Moose.
You think that you are the perfect one, love for yourself enough.
You're listening to the Metal Moose.
Cynic there is another song that I feel like I would play to somebody that I were trying to convince to get into the band. But it's also the other thing about it is that I feel like I could play that to somebody and play another song and convince them that it was two different bands. So, I mean, I think that that's a plus. It's a pro and a con for the band. And I think that I really like how you guys do the cadence with the rap thing is really cool. I also like this too, this kind of monotone kind of, I don't know whether to call it Tool-esque or Alice in Chains-esque, but it's more big rock radio-esque. It's not as extreme as some of the other stuff. And I feel like you guys are you're finding that, like I said earlier in the show, you're finding that you're good at a lot of different kinds of textures and emotions and phrasing. And so far it's enjoyable, and it's like I said, it's not my favorite production job, but it's something that I feel like there are pieces that I could grab out of it and really sell somebody on this band. I think that the ultimate goal here, though, is to be able to put them all together as a whole to where people aren't confused at which band they're listening to. Or if, my honest opinion is you find the one part that you're good at, that you like the best, and you become super good at that. And then you add your second best, to flavor on it. But, ultimately, I guess that you could take multiple pieces, and there are a lot of bands that do this. But in order to do that, you've got to find a way to meld them together to where it's cohesive and it's not just a bunch of jumbled mess. And sometimes that is very difficult to do. A lot of bands spend many years trying to get that one thing they're good at down. You know what I'm saying? So you guys are good at multiple things. I think maybe picking one or two and melding them together in a nice cohesive package is gonna be the biggest trouble that you have. This is all good live stuff. I think it's very energetic. There's a lot of emotion. None of it's bad. It's just not real focused, in my opinion. So we'll continue with Guilty Pride, another song from Apathy Syndrome, right here with me, the Moose. Let's get it on, like now.
This here is Cletus B. Wolford, and you dumb sons of bitches are listening to that Moose on the Metal Moose Show. Listen to Hank Williams, you
are listening to the Metal Moose.
It's Guilty Pride right now, my favorite cut off of the album so far. I think that is a better example of not only mass popular format, big rock radio formatted kind of song, but also I feel like on that track, these other pieces that really cohesed well, if you will. It wasn't as thrown around as the others. It was super rough around the edges, which kind of made it exciting. It wasn't overly slick or like overly dramatically written to be a 3-minute radio rock song. But I liked that one. Like, that to me has so far been like the perfect mixture of the things that you guys do. And that wasn't a song that I needed a guitar solo, and I'm still waiting to hear a guitar solo, which is, for a guitar freak like me, it gets a little bummified when I don't hear a guitar solo. But that doesn't make it bad by any means, but I'm yearning for some 6-string action in here. And I think that there are some of your tunes that could really benefit from a good guitar solo, just like I feel like some of your tunes could really benefit from a good riff as opposed to a run, because what you guys do, what you're playing is a lot of runs and a lot of breakdowns, which I understand where that comes from. But man, the power of the riff compels you, as they say. So if you go back through rock and metal history, riffs are what signature, you know what I mean? It's your signature to the tune. So I'm still looking for good riffs, and like I said, maybe a solo. And did the keyboard just disappear, or is it buried in the mix and I can't hear it anymore? Because there was some interesting melody factors going on early on when I started doing this, and I've kind of lost the keyboard, and I think that it can really be helpful in some ways. But I haven't heard it for a bit here, so we'll get back into more of that after Mask the Madness, which is obviously about Jim Carrey. Am I wrong? I'm probably wrong. It is Moose with Soundcheck on a custom soundcheck with the Apathy Syndrome, and we're having a good time. Mask the Madness. Let's do this. Let's bake this damn cake.
This is John from Doghouse Swine out of New Jersey, and you're listening to Metal Moose Radio. Love you guys, man.
Country, the fate that they choose. Now within you, the evil has rose. Monster in you, hides deep inside. Only surfacing when the victim he finds. You wanna stop and end this fight? Let me tell you, there's a wind inside. Screaming, yelling, crying deep inside. It all creates a mess. It buries into your mind. Master madness. Take things just to feel fine. Master madness. Pain like no other kind. Master madness. Where a mass comfort you find. Master madness. You found the madness deep in your mind. It's too late to fight the beast you find. In the end, you release all control. On this hunt, this muscle will patrol. Until the day there's a hope. One way, no survival. We should fight, we should shut the door. Until the day that we'll run.
And there it is, the return of the keyboard, and really, really well placed and good feeling soundscape, kind of a deal at the end there, which fits the song really well. That's another good. That tune is a standout tune to me. I loved the vocal break. There's a lot of fist pumping kind of music in this so far, which I think is cool because it's whenever you can get the crowd involved into that kind of where they're shaking their hand and fisting the air, kind of thing. That's really a cool deal because when you get the kids involved, it makes it a fun show, and it also you feed off the energy coming to you. So that was a standout cut. That's another song that I probably would release as a single, and another song that I would play to somebody. A lot of this, if you listen to Soundcheck itself, that I kind of say whether I like a band by telling them that I would wear their shirt, because if I wear your shirt, that means I am going to not only tell people about your band because they're going to ask me, trust me, but it also means that I'm putting my approval on this being a better than average metal band. So, I'll find out at the end here. What I'm going to give you guys a grade, I guess, and tell you if I would wear your shirt or not. But there are so many good things going on here that it's hard to say too much negative. And I think that I've highlighted the negative with the production and with the multi voicings of the band, which I promise you that almost everybody else that listens to your band is going to say, screw that guy, man. It's cool that you guys can sound so many different ways. And it is. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think that it could be utilized better to streamline your sound, streamline your audience, and, streamline the goal of what Apathy Syndrome is as a band. You know what I mean? So, it's easier to say, hey, Apathy Syndrome is a hardcore band, not a hardcore / alternative / rap metal, it's, and then it's, I don't know, for me personally, it's always scary to hear multi-genres wrapped up in one. I don't know what that means. Are they disco? You know what I mean? So it's one of those kind of deals. With my favorite song title on the record coming up now, Suck My Life.
over my life. For one day a cure they will find. Won't let this take over my life. For one day a cure they will find.
The Apathy Syndrome here on Soundcheck with Suck My Life. So my name is Moose, coming to you from the Moose Pit here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I got the new kind of studio set up with the new laptop and going through the board now, and which is interesting because I've had to kind of tweak my mic and stuff. So if there's been some weird up and downs, that's why. So, but you know, the old Behringer used to just kind of act as a patch. But now we're going through the board, and that's a lot of fun. So we're doing that. If you are enjoying the show and you're in a band and you want to do a custom sound check, it's pretty easy. Just get a hold of me on Facebook and tell me who you are and send me your music, and I'll do the same exact thing right here that I'm doing for the guys in Apathy Syndrome. That I'll do it for you as well, you and your band. I don't remember what number this is, but I've done quite a few of these now, and everybody seems to have been happy with the product. It's really a one-of-a-kind deal. So, and my main goal is to, hopefully the bands that have done this will tell the bands that they know, hey, man, shoot your music out to Moose, and he'll do this podcast for you. So, and it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's a one-of-a-kind deal. Nobody else is doing this, and I've wanted to do it for so long, and I finally decided I would buckle down and do it, and it's been a blast because I've found some awesome bands so far, and also it's kind of cool to be able to, I get to envision a little bit more a producer of the album than I do when I just, kind of review a single song or something, and it gives me the opportunity to, I think, give advice to bands that maybe they haven't heard before, or give them some advice that's going to be, helpful in their direction. I don't ever want to, if a band said they wanted to do a custom show and they sent me their stuff and it was just absolute garbage, I would say, no, guys, I don't think that this is right, because I don't want to get on the air or ever tell somebody that it's just awful. And then I would tell the band, hey, here's some ideas. Why don't we try this? And, when you go record again or whatever it is, and let's try these couple ideas, and we'll try to do this again, because when we put this out there, number one, it's supposed to be, in my mind, positive for the bands, but also if the band decides that they want me to put it on the digital platforms, lots of damn people are going to hear it. So you really want to put your best foot forward when doing that. So we want it to be a positive experience for the bands, I know a lot of people are really famous for that, for being jerks to people and making fun of bands and stuff like that. I know that people love that, but that's just not who I am or what I do. So we're going to continue on with Apathy Syndrome right now with a song called Voices. Getting close to the end. Hang tight, everybody.
Hi, this is Distort from Sweden. I'm Tord, and you're listening to the Moose Radio, Metal Moose Radio Show. And you're listening to Metal Moose Radio Show.
I want more than you.
says.
Show your rack, Cheetos, and rubber chickens.
I think probably that track has the most obvious System of a Down influence in it, which has kind of been all over. Like I said, I've been, a little bit of Alice in Chains with that monotone, a little bit of Tool as well. But System of a Down really kind of came out in a strong fashion on that song, which is it's kind of an interesting thing that as I'm going through the songs here and I'm listening to the cornucopia of different styles and things that I'm hearing in the music, from the blast beats to the rap cadence and different things like that, it does kind of harken that System of a Down. I can't think of the word formula, where it's just a little bit of this and a little bit of that and pieces in here and there. And I can understand that to a point. The influence is obviously there, but there's obviously also some big, like grindcore, and a hardcore influence in there as well. So it's kind of. So what does Apathy Syndrome sound like? Well, kind of like System of a Down meets Impaled. You know what I mean? It's just this very weird concoction of sounds, which is fun. But I think it's really hard to get a mass audience to swallow that kind of a deal. Like, that is important necessarily to you guys. But I try to look at this stuff as a broad spectrum deal. What would happen if I threw an Apathy Syndrome track on, the big rock radio station in my town? Would people change the station, or would they wait to hear, a part that they liked? Oh, that sounded like System of a Down. I'm going to stay here. And then they're like, whoa, what the hell just happened? So it's one of those kind of deals. So we all become sick. It's a fact. We do. Ask the pharmaceutical company.
This is Billy V, lead guitarist and show producer for Darkitect, and you're listening to Metal Moose Radio.
We'll become
This is Noah Shark from Moto Grader, and you're listening to Metal Moose Radio.
My prediction is that somebody will lose their legs in the pit to that song. That was, I liked the groove. In the beginning, I thought that was really fun. The aggression going into the song was a blast, and then it just turned into a all-out grind assault, which is, I love grind, so that was a beautiful deal. This has been an interesting record so far because it's been in so many different areas, and I never know what to expect when I get music from a band, because I don't do a lot of research, and I just kind of let it play, and I give my I always call them kind of micro reviews, and that is my first gut take off of the song when I hear it. I don't want to spend time with it. I don't want to get into the intricacies of, I want to hear it and see what it does for me, and then put it out there and give my honest opinion. Because one of the things I think that for the longest time, people have thought that I'm, have allegiances to certain labels or bands or friends or whatever. I don't, man, because if it's not good, I'm going to tell you that it's not good, and if it's good, I'll tell you that it's good. If it could be better, I'm going to tell you how I think it could be better. It's really cool doing these custom deals because, like I said, I just don't know what the hell to expect, and I didn't know what to expect with this. And it's been an interesting ride. I will say that for the as a whole, it's a good roller coaster ride because it's not one stagnant noise. It's not one stagnant genre. You're getting a lot of different packages in one record, which is, sometimes is a really good thing because when things get stagnant, things get boring a lot of times. I think it's going to be hard to continue with such a diverse palette of songs, So I don't know though, but it's been a fun ride. I'm very interested to possibly see these guys live one of these days, because if their live show has the intensity of the album, it's going to be crazy. So Your Own Grave is the last cut that we're going to do tonight of the Apathy Syndrome custom sound check, and then I'll give my full album review here at the end. And yeah, man, so Apathy Syndrome, pretty cool, man. We're going to get into this last cut. We'll talk to you on the flip side of Your Own. That was my fake death metal thing. Yeah.
This is Derek from Scissortooth. You're listening to the Moose.
Sit there and run your mouth.
Well, first things first, thanks so much for listening to the custom sound check. Either you're a fan of the band and you got this as a gift or as a download or something like that, or you never heard of the band like myself, and now hopefully you're a fan or whatever. But thank you for listening wherever you're listening from on any of the digital platforms or however you have it. I'm glad that you have it. I'm glad that you get a chance to hang out with me here in the Moose Pit for the last hour and a half listening to the Apathy Syndrome custom show. So here's the deal. We'll get down to brass tacks. I would wear the shirt, guys. It's like I said, there's so many good things going on. And you're good at multiple things, which is, I'm telling you right now, trust me, is a favor on your part because you can switch it up and smack people from different directions. I will tell you that I probably would give the album a B. It's not outstanding. It's good. I would play it in my car to rock out to. Would I put it on my list of outstanding rock albums that I've heard? No, probably not. But I really think that I think a lot of the issues that I have with the record are the way the songs are arranged. I would really, really mix up the arrangements of some of your songs. Personally, I would use the keyboard more just for elements of emotion and sonic issues. I would I would throw a lot more riffs into the music. And then, like I said early in the show, the one of the best ways to show power is to stop and then start again. You throw that pause, bam. And I know that you do that on a couple occasions, but I think that there's a lot of places you can use it. I also think that there's a lot of places where you could utilize space as opposed to just cramming every damn noise into the next 8 measures as possible, is to slow down and pound. And I think that is, and then I'm not talking about just a breakdown, not just I know we all have heard that, but that's where you throw that keyboard in there and make a mood and put some striking kind of flavor into it. But if it were me and I had you guys to mold you as a band, I would say I would really focus on the I like the real monotone vocal part of you guys, and I think that I would probably use that as your foundation if it were me. And then I would probably, I don't know, it's really hard because you're good at both. I love the grind-esque part of the music, and it also has less judgmental value than the rapcore, you know what I'm saying? So I think that there's a way to arrange your music with all of the elements that you guys are good at. You're really good at, like I said, fist bumping kind of arena rock kind of things, and then turning around and just, grinding the hell out of it. So, like I said, I would give it a B, man. It's a good record. I think people are going to enjoy it. I think I'm giving you more of a producer, deeper listener kind of a deal. I don't know many people out there that are like, I'm not sure that I like the coffee tone of the guitar. You know what I mean? That's me because I'm a dork. But those are the kind of things that I want to tell the bands. I want to go way past what the normal person does and goes, yeah, man, Apathy Syndrome rocks. I want to say you guys rock too, but I want to be like, hey, let's try these things. So my big things are, I'd wear the shirt because I like the band. I do. It's good. I would go play with a click, introduce some melody with the keyboards, show that power with some silence. That's a big deal. And then just rearrangements, man. Take the middle of the song and put it in the front and play around with it and have fun with it. Sometimes playing around with things is how we find out great stuff. Okay, I had to throw that in there. Well, listen, man, this is Moose. This has been the Apathy Syndrome Custom Sound Check. You can find me here at the Moose Pit on iTunes and YouTube, iHeartRadio, and many more. Until next time, you wake up, you kick ass, you be kind, and repeat. That's how you live the life moose style. And we'll see you next time on Soundcheck from the Moose Pit in Oklahoma City. So until next time, take care, will you?
All rights to the music heard on the Metal Moose are reserved by the authors, their labels, or authorized representatives that permitted their material to be used. The Metal Moose holds no rights to any music played on the show. Go to themetalmoose.com to submit your music to be heard on the show. Metal Moose accepts donations of money, Cheetos, bacon, and naked pictures. Thank you for tuning in and subscribe on iTunes. Rock out while you rack out, and consider yourself moosed.